Yeah. Yeah, let's get it. Let's get it. I'm a chief in the field like Patrick Mahomes has at it again. Shout out Patrick and Sean. 9 to 10 p.m. You know how we do it, so know that it's on. 9 times out of 10, but it know that we drawn. I say it again, I said it before. Best dynamic duo around us for sure. Right here on the high spots for show. Some other stations can't do it like us cause we do what we want. They do what they told. We bring you sports talk with no cap, and then we ain't acting. This ain't for show. We just snap back to back to back for years in a row. And shout out the Cole, my foot in the door, but be on your toes. Got home foot advantage and you on the road. Boxing men like Sonny Liston. Ain't throwing jabs, no pun intended. Do what we do it and do it well. Like what competition? We bring that heat like MIA, but when Brian Brown was there running the floor, right here's the HPS tip ball, just relax and enjoy as we run up the score. Feeling like Shaq when he broke the backboard over and over again. Pat told me get him, I told him I got him. I did it and did it and did it again. I feel like a horse, they thinking it's polo. I'm rocking the course, I spies the logo. This a new source of sports. If you ain't know that, bet you know now. I just told you. Get your updates every stay alert. Running the field, Jalen Hurts, 215. We hear your show and shout out to Pat, the 4-0. Just up to the notch, get the 4-1. We just getting started, we ain't done. Usain Bolt, how we running it? To keep it 100, we just begun. Applying that pressure, no Aubrey Lennox. We do this for real, ain't no gimmicks. We with the back and forth like Novak. And I ain't talking tennis. I peeped that they mad, they thought they could stop us. Read from below, the scene of us rising. Round home message, you see us, we climbing. When it came, we saw that we conquered. The top, but so much better than the bottom. Tony Hawk, yeah, we did it from grinding. Much love, better cities behind us. Baltimore and shout out Philly, we got us. Pat and Sean, that's a tour of the monster. Tap in, we turned up and we vibing. Good fellas over here like we mobbing. Like shit, go and leave us a comment. Oh man, here we go again. Ryan Howard, it's another hit. Amanda Nunez in the octagon. They don't know what they up against. Cristiano Ronaldo, come kick it with us cause we got it lit. Any sports you want, take it to. Let's take it there, it is not exempt. Shout out to Shop with the bull here. We wildin' out like a full head. They don't move how we move here, and they can do how we do here. Tug of war got pull here. Class in session, get school here. Sleeping on us, can't snooze here. When it's circle, can't lose here. It's your time, is you ready? It's go time, is you ready? Please believe we ready. Yes, indeed, we ready. It's your time, is you ready? It's go time, is you ready? Please believe we ready. Yes, indeed, we ready. It's your time, is you ready? It's go time, is you ready? Please believe we ready. Yes, indeed, we ready. It's your time, is you ready? It's go time, is you ready? Please believe we ready. Yes, indeed, we ready. Yeah.
Yeah. Ooh-wee! What's up, Hodgepodge Sports Show? I am Patrick Hodge, Baltimore, Maryland. He is Sean James Rocking Chair Harrison, Philadelphia, PA. Together we are Hodgepodge Sports Show. What's up, partner? Long time no see, man.
How's it going, man?
Oh, man,
it's like there's no better time to start this right back up, right? Like,
man, no better time. It's back right on, man. We got week 1 NFL coming up. We got college football to talk about. Probably got a little bit of Premier League to talk about. You know what I mean? Loving the kit. What's up, Devin Gordy? Man. So man, we got so much to talk about. I mean, it feels like we ain't been on this joint in like 2 years, man. But we back. So just for y'all to know, we're gonna be back every week. This week will be Saturday night, because if you've been around long enough to know, we don't do Sunday nights when the boys or when the Eagles are playing. We take that night off so we can focus on our squads.
So
we will be on Saturday night because it doesn't do us any good if I only got one eye on the prize, right?
You'll see me like this the whole time.
Yeah,
see the bottom of my neck. Hey, what was that?
Remember you used to always call me out on that.
Hey, what was that?
Patrick, stop watching the TV, man. Stop watching TV.
What was that?
Oh man, but I really can't wait to get into some things here because there's been a lot that's happened since the last time we've been on, and there's a lot coming up, and so if you know us, right? Not you, but to the people that are watching and listening to us, we'll plan a show, we'll come up with topics, and we say we're gonna do this and we're gonna do that, but
never goes
what makes us is our ability to ad lib and go where we want to go. But I will promise you this. I will promise you we will talk about NFL week 1, and we will end the show on Sean's picks for week 1. We're going to talk a little MLB. We got to, because this is so popular right now. We just gotta. And we're definitely going to talk about some college football. And then the opening up of the Premier League, man. I got into it last year. I'm really looking forward to keeping up with it this year and seeing where things go. That's just an exciting thing. And then anything else that somebody wants to drop in any one of our chats, please do, right? If you're new to this, it is a straight podcast feel, but please If you're watching a live feed, type a question, type a topic in there. We're monitoring that, and we will be able to talk about it as well.
Interact. Let's go.
So right now we got LSU 7, Florida State 7. 12 minutes left in the second. We had some good games. Not really anything surprising except for Texas State. Week 1 of college football and week 1 of NFL is just really an extension of the preseason. But depending on which college football team you are, that might go into week 2, right? Because we got teams playing, cupcakes, so to speak, before they get into 1 or 2 conference games, right? If you're a member of our group, which I highly encourage you to join, Hodge Podge Sports Show on Facebook, 2,000 members strong, going on probably year 6 or 7 at this point.
Not a member. What are you doing?
Yeah, exactly. What are you doing with your life if you're not a part of the group? I'm sure you realize that it's a very college football heavy group, and it's dominated by the SEC, which is amazing to me.
Yeah, it really is, considering the amount of people we have from the
Yeah.
north. You figure we'd be Big Ten heavy.
Yeah, Big Ten heavy. Yeah.
There's some Big Ten in there, but it is predominantly SEC.
Predominantly SEC. And I get it. Some of our prominent members and some of our admin team, SEC. Big shout out to Dre McClendon, our admin. Big shout out to Demetrius Etheridge, one of our top members in the group who's been riding with us since day one. He'll tell you Dog Nation all day. And we got to give them fellas props because they're the reigning champs. But you know where I'm going with this. What's really starting to bother me a little bit is the Tennessee chatter. And it's starting to bother me. It's starting to bother me to the point to where you can't take what you're putting out, right?
Remember that? Always.
And we yes, it was Tom. Tom said that TCU Colorado game was crazy.
It was. We'll get to that.
Yes, indeed.
We will get to that.
But it's one thing to rep your squad, rep your school, rep your region, but it's another thing not be able to take the heat what comes from doing that, right? So we pride ourselves on having thick skin. This is one of the things that I love about our group. Mostly everybody that's a part of this group and comes in that group understands that you're gonna get what you put out. Hence our saying, #HPS never forgets, right? So before we get into our seasons, I just want to put the disclaimer out there, right? Don't come crying to me when you get your ass handed to you for what you put out there. Don't message me privately asking me why somebody said this to you when you brought it on yourself. Be a grown-ass man, be a grown-ass woman, own your shit. Don't play victim. Don't insult the person if you don't want to get insulted back, right? We can have a lot of debates. We can talk a lot of smack, but please know, whatever you put out, you're getting back, right? That's the way our group is. That's the way it started. That's the way it's always going to be.
We've actually got way more lenient too when it comes, because we used to not do cursing at all in our group.
At all.
We used to delete it, but after a conversation with the rest of our admin team, and we said, as long as you're not, like, if you pull, like a what the hell or like a that's shitty or something like that, as long as you're not cursing out somebody, we allow it. But that's, again, to echo what Patrick's saying. If you are not going to, if you're not able to dish out what's happening to you, then I don't want to see people crying. And that's like, I mean, Patrick sees it firsthand. We with crybabies, and I see it as well. But it is rather irritating to a point that if you are not able to take what is being said to you with a grain of salt, then you shouldn't be a member of this group, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm
gonna like just keep scrolling, man. You know what I mean?
It's amazing to me in this sense, right? You and I have known each other for 6-7 years now.
Yep.
You know all my rooting interests. I know all yours.
Yep.
And you know what gets me more than anything else, right? And I love people that don't know that because they go the other way, right? You know damn well the Phillies can wreck my whole day, right? That's it, right? That's it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
The Cowboys can get blown out 56-0. I'll tell you, bad week. Let the Phillies lose 3-2 on a wild pitch or something. You think the world ended, right?
I feel you, man. I'm like that with the Eagles. Like the Eagles
You
could,
know what I mean?
the Eagles could like. I want to say ruin my day because I always say that I don't let sports sports control my emotions.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, if the Eagles lose, I will be in a shitty mood for the rest of the day.
And
But if the Sixers lose, you know what I mean. I'm just like, Or if the Yankees lose, I'm just like,
Yeah.
You know what I mean. But as far as like if it's the Eagles, my mood might be shitty because I only get one game a week of them. So in my mind, it's like I might be like in a shitty mood for a whole week. God forbid they lose back to back. Oh my God. I don't know how Atlanta fans do it. Oh shit, I'm sorry.
And I'm laughing. And I'm laughing because our private messages are hysterical in that regard, right? You can message me and be like, hey man, I caught the end of that Phillies game. You good? And I'll be like, yeah. And then I can say to you, hey, I didn't get the Eagles game, but I saw the score. What happened? And then you'll go into this long thing and explain to me what happened, right?
Yep.
So that's why I'm laughing. And then come basketball and hockey, we'll be like, whatever, right? But so it's good. So man, let's get to it, right? First time I got to see Shedeur Sanders play, man.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, I was so impressed with that kid. I was so impressed with that game, right? I've come to expect non-defense when I'm watching college football.
As you should.
Right. Because I used to get so upset watching, like, why is this kid running wide open? Why? So when I was watching the game, I was like, man, Colorado, they can't stop the run. They just kept giving up big play after big play, but then they were scoring. I never seen this kid play, and honestly, I thought that he was a running quarterback, right? Devin Gordon said, hey, Sean, I'm a Falcons fan.
Well, I know. That's why I got the jab in there while one was watching.
and to see him stand in that pocket, dance around a little bit, within the pocket, and just make the throws that he did, I thought it was a very entertaining game.
Oh, yeah.
And our main man, Demetrius Etheridge, made a great post today talking about overreactions to week 1, right? And don't make it about Tennessee. And then our resident third man in the booth, Danny Spalding, said that he is over the Colorado hype, right? It was a good win, blah, 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 but he's over it, right? And I feel that it's not being talked about enough.
It's only just begun.
And I say that because all the flack that Deion Sanders took from his peers in the media, he's not going about it the right way. He's this, that, and the other, right? To come out on national TV, beat the 17th ranked team.
The runner-up last year
in the national championship with the team that only won one game last year. Whole new staff having a guy playing both ways. That's a win in itself. Everyone in college football should be applauding that effort, right? And I'm gonna say something to you, and it's gonna surprise the shit out of you because we never go this route. But there is a lot of negativity coming their way because of the color of that man's skin and the color of the star players on there. And I say that not tongue-in-cheek and not trying to bait anybody, but I watched the interview that he said, and he said something that stood out to me. He said, a confident young black man is a dangerous thing. That's something that people are afraid of, right? And I listened to his post-game interview, and I listened to his son, and I listened to the kid that plays both ways. I can't think of his name right now. Travis Henry, I think it is.
Travis Hunter.
Travis Hunter. I'm sorry. Travis Henry was a former West Virginia wide receiver. My apology. Or Chris Henry. But anyway, and he said that one of the funny things and great things that that Deion's son said was they were like asking him how's it feel playing. He's like, oh man, it feels great. He said, look at what we did today. Last year, I was playing in an HBCU school and look at what we did today, right? So the point I'm trying to make is that they didn't make it about themselves. They didn't make it about anything else about the team. And we all know and we love Prime because of how braggadocious, bodacious he can be, but he backs it up. He was so humble in his interview, right? And I think that's the other part that people are upset about because they thought that he was going to go on this, this diatribe that he typically could or would do, right? I just thought it was good. They could lose the next 10 games, but it still doesn't take away from what they did yesterday. And that's the point that I'm making, that it's not overhyped, right? If they only win this one game, right, and this is what we talk about all year long, then sure, right? But we know college football is more week to week than any sport that there is, right? So
let's be real. TCU is probably going to be one of the toughest games on their schedule as well.
Exactly.
Their schedule's not going to get substantially harder.
Right.
Anything, their schedule should get easier. They started off with the hardest game of the year for them, probably.
That's my point, right? So the retort was, well, TCU won't be as good as they were last year. Well, that's not the point, right? The point is a team that won one game last year beat the team that was the runner-up in the national championship last year and is ranked number 17 in the country this year in their stadium.
Yeah. And I'll tell you what,
on national TV.
If they would have beat another team like Penn State, Tennessee, Michigan, or Georgia, the people would have probably be, there would be going crazy talking about how great Colorado is and how they're the next up and comers. But because it's TCU, which is, keep in mind, is a very good football school. It's a very good Power 5 football school that's, just getting bled out of the Big 12 like every other school there. But it's a very, very, very good Power 5 school. They did something that no team's ever done. They had 4 receivers go for over 100 yards yesterday. It's never been done before in college football history. 4 different receivers go over 100 yards. They had that quarterback Sanders threw for 507 yards. If you're going to tell me 4 of them had 100, that means that he spread the ball around the field better than any college quarterback we've probably ever seen play the game. I don't know how you can't be excited for this team going forward. I just don't understand you can say that you're tired of hearing Deion talk, but Deion doesn't even really talk that much. And when he does, it's in a completely different sense. You don't hear him talking in the braggadocious sense he was when he was a player.
Right.
He is an extremely humble guy. And I don't care if you're mad about anything else, but the real was it Travis Hunter, they took him from he transferred to Colorado to play for Deion Sanders.
Right.
And one of the biggest things was if the team that he left, Travis Hunter left, wanted to keep him, all they had to do was sign Deion Sanders, because that was Deion Sanders' alma mater that he came from.
That's right.
So, you know what I mean? Let's be real here. And, if knowing that, you're also getting Deion Sanders' kid, who's the quarterback, who seems to he just inserted himself in the Heisman conversation, whether you want to talk about it or not. You throw 507 yards in one game, and I think he only missed 3 passes the entire game. You can't not be in the Heisman conversation after week 1. But with that being said, though, we see this every year where a team gets off to a hot start.
Right.
And, goes rolling off the 3-0, 4-0, 5-0. Then they hit that brick wall, right? That metaphorical brick wall where they'll lose to, a South Carolina Gamecocks.
Mm-hmm.
and then back that up by losing to a ranked team right afterwards.
Sure.
And then wonder why they didn't make the playoffs.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Crying about how they should be in. So trying to get in off the conference and not their own merits or lack thereof. But so I'll just say this, right? I put it on the bottom, right? Imagine if Colorado had lost yesterday. I guarantee you. We would have heard more about them losing yesterday than the win. I guarantee it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You would have been hearing about, Deion's not fit to coach a real school. He can't coach in the Power 5s, blah, blah, blah. That's all you would have heard is about how Deion can't coach for a big school and that he should have stayed in the HBCU and all that stuff. That's what you would have heard if they would have they would have lost.
It's that whole thing when you have a rivalry, right? And you got your best meme saved up or your best dig against your rivalry school, and you got to hold it for another week, right? That's all we're doing here, right? For the media and we're the pundits and we're the naysayers, right? We have to hold whatever we wanted to say yesterday to next Saturday, right? To that for that first loss, right? Oh, I told you, you can't have all these transfer players coming. You know what I mean? Like whatever they wanted to say yesterday is gonna have to wait till next week, right?
Let's be
But
honest. If he wins 5 games in Colorado after they won 1 game last year, it's a successful season.
how about 2? How about just doubling the win total?
I get what you're saying. I can fly.
No, but I feel you. I'm with you.
You know what I mean? Like with 2, it's like, you could actually you could fall into 2 wins. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm with
NFL teams do that every year. But I'm saying, like, if they go from 1 to 5 wins in the course of 1 year, that means he's building something there.
Exactly.
Nobody expects. I don't expect at the end of the year Colorado to be one of the top 4 ranked teams in the year, and nobody should expect that from him for 1 year. What you should expect is to see him building some form of foundation there and some form of building blocks there, which I think you're seeing, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I'm not mistaken, his son is still eligible to play for another year before he can move out. Right?
He's got 2 years. Yeah, absolutely.
No, he's not. He played last year for Jackson State, did he not?
Yeah, he did. But I think he's still only a junior. I think he has this year.
I'm saying he's a sophomore this year, so he's going to be a junior next year, which means he's eligible to leave after next year.
Yeah, I think his other son is done this year. The one that plays on the defense. I think he's older, so I think he might be done. Right.
So my point is, you're building a foundation. You have the talent. You have some talent right now, but all that's going to happen is people are going to want to play for him because he's prime.
And that's it, right? So here's the thing that you just said that I want to just want to piggyback off what you said, right? It's about building something, and it's about that, right? And it's about leaving something better than when you came in, right? Because we all know that he's not going to be long for Colorado because he's going to be like all the other coaches that get the better jobs, the bigger programs, and go. But if he decides to stay and continues to bring that thing up, but again, a lot of that's going to depend on conference jumping too now, right? Because there's no more Pac-12 as we know it, right? So we can't be upset.
They got Oregon State and Washington State,
right? But we can't be upset with him when he decides to go back to either Florida State or wherever, right? You know what I mean? Like, here's the thing, right?
I think he's long for the NFL.
He very well may be, but I don't know if that's where he wants to go because I think he could have had an NFL coaching job had he had won by now. Honestly, like
I think he wants to coach his kids, and once his kids bounce, he's going to have no loyalty left.
He was one of those guys that didn't want to go the assistant or the coordinator route. You know what I mean? Like he wanted to do the baseball route, right? Like I played, now I can manage. You know what I'm saying?
That's what. So since he couldn't do that in the NFL, that's why he went to college. He's like, okay, well, I'm managing in college. Right. You'll see I can do it. You'll see I can build a foundation for a team,
for sure.
And then you're going to hire me.
You know, it don't work that way in the NFL. You know what I mean? Like it don't work that way.
The team that drafted him is going to need a new coach in 2 years. So don't worry.
Yeah, exactly. We got Prime on deck, right? Yeah, Q. I think that's right. I think he's a junior this year. I think that's what we're saying. And you're right. So many did want him to fail. No, he played 2 years at Jackson State, so I think he's a junior.
Played 2 years at Jackson State?
Yeah, I think he played 2 years at Jackson State. We can just look it up.
That's what I'm doing right now.
All right. And you're exactly right. They were changing the narrative to it was TCU, not realizing how foolish they sound. That's exactly right. It's the same argument that you make for the bigger schools, right? Like you'll say Alabama beat up on Sam Houston State, right? So it's really not that big of a win, right? Or it's a cupcake, like, it's a layup, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Fair enough, right?
It is
what it is. But I'll tell you what game was pretty impressive to me. And I didn't watch a lot, but I really enjoyed watching the Penn State West Virginia game.
I bet you did.
Well, listen. Here's the thing. I'm from Pennsylvania. I am a Penn State fan.
Yeah, but West Virginia.
We root for West Virginia because that's my wife's alma mater, right? But I'll say this: I was impressed with West Virginia with the way they were able to run the ball and how they were able to hang in there. But I think when you come in as a 20.5-point underdog, you got to take more risk, more than going for it on fourth down. Like, let's throw the ball. Like, let's drive the ball a little bit or try to. But Penn State just played a really good game defensively, offensively. They were sound. That's a tough week one game, right? Now you get a little bit of a cupcake next week to get yourself together. I didn't see any of the Tennessee game. I saw their score. I didn't see any of the bigger boys play.
I saw the Tennessee game.
I saw the Florida Utah game. I was impressed with Utah's running ability from that quarterback. I will peep the rest of this LSU FSU game.
I got it on right now. I've been watching it. It's been an interesting game so far. I mean, neither team, like, there was just a sequence where LSU fumbled a punt return, Florida State throws an interception the very next play, and then LSU goes 3 and out and punts it to the 1 yard line. That was a very strange sequence there.
Yeah.
But I do want to talk about the Tennessee game because that's the one I watched the most of. Even though some people in this group won't like it, I don't care. The way that game started out, it looked like Virginia was giving Tennessee fits for the first 2 quarters. The game, you would understand what I'm talking about. It looked like Tennessee didn't know. Virginia couldn't move the ball at all. Let me clear that up. Their offense could not move the ball. The front four for Tennessee, it could be unbelievable, but I don't know because you played Virginia, so it's like really hard for me to say you had a great game when you didn't really play like a tough opponent, and their offense looked hard, and Virginia's offense looked horrible. But I made a comment that there's two passes that Bazooka Joe, as they call him, threw the ball deep, right on the money, right to the receiver on back-to-back drive, off the hands, onto the ground. Thus led to my comment, the Tennessee receivers can't catch a cold right now. They just dropped 2 big back-to-back passes. So it looked like they turned it around a little bit in the second half but Virginia was giving them absolute fits. And if Virginia could move the ball in any way, maybe it would have been a better matchup. I don't really know. Like you said, week 1 for me, especially in college football, it's very rare you get matches like we're seeing right now where it's Florida State versus LSU. You know what I mean? Or you get that TCU Colorado game. Mm-hmm. Usually the first match for all these teams are cupcake matches, right? Like they intentionally play a game week 1 that you're going to steamroll them. And they save the harder opponents for later on in the season when the team's already rolling. So it's really hard for you to really pass judgment on any of these teams that played yesterday because we don't really know who the hell they played. Just like right now, I mean, the only ones you'll really be able to pass judgment on, in my opinion, is LSU and Florida State, because these are 2 top 10 ranked teams playing each other with good football programs to boot.
Right.
How about Oregon putting up 81?
That's crazy, right?
You see duck? You saw the duck? The duck did like 546 push-ups.
He had to be worn out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Listen, he's stronger. He's stronger than the BYU mascot, right? And so that's that. So LSU 14, Florida State 7. I guess Penn State's got to figure out their kicker. They're kicking.
Oh my God, dude!
Right?
That game should have been so much more lopsided than what it was. If you were just watching it on your phone, you'd be like, "Oh, damn, West Virginia's keeping up with Penn State. Maybe Penn State's not as good as everybody thought they were."
Right.
Homeboy missed 2 field goals and an extra point. Like, what are we doing here? And that was all in the first half.
Well, in the first half.
Like, the hell is happening?
Yeah,
so then they brought on another bull to kick extra points, but shit, that was bad. that was so bad, especially when you have national title aspirations.
Yeah.
It can't be that's the one spot in your lineup you got to be sure on, because once you start playing those bigger teams, those harder points are tough to come by.
I hear you.
But yeah, either way. I'm hoping, for one season, I really like the way Drew Aller was playing yesterday. It was nice to see a 5-star quarterback actually playing for Penn State. Hopefully once the bigger competition comes around, because we have I was looking at the stretch of our games, and we play like Michigan, Iowa, and Ohio State. It's like 3 out of 4 weeks, like boom, 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 boom. And I'm looking, I'm like, God damn, that's a murderer's row of teams. I'm gonna get this exactly right. So,
Kevin Dixon said that. Kevin Dixon said that they said that the Duck needed an IV in the fourth quarter.
so later on in the year, Penn State has to go Ohio State, Indiana, Maryland, Michigan in that 4-game stretch. And anybody that knows the Big Ten and watches the Big Ten knows that Indiana's never a pushover. They're always a tough team to play. And the same thing with the Tarpons in Maryland. They're always a tough team.
I think conference games are always tough, right? And I think
that's why I think that unless you ask somebody from the SEC,
right?
And,
right. I was going to say, like,
they're cupcake games, but
you know what I mean. Until they match up against said conference in a bowl game and lose. But anyway,
they don't know nothing about these corn huskers. You know what I mean? Like having to play Nebraska, who are all farm strong boys from the Midwest. All playing on. They don't know nothing about that lifestyle.
You can't keep up with the speed in the SEC. Yeah, I get it. Yeah. You know, I think. Listen, SEC is a nice conference.
I will never, ever say it's not a nice conference.
It is. It's a nice conference, right?
But I will also never belittle another conference to build another conference.
Correct. And I will say this, right? And I've always said this, and I'll continue to say it until they prove me wrong. It's a 2-team conference, plain and simple. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Where the guy sitting at the table with the banner and the coffee cup, change my mind. You know what I mean? It's out. It's
Georgia. I agree.
It was Alabama, Georgia. Now it's Georgia, Alabama. Right? Great. Tennessee's ranked number 10 or 11 or whatever. LSU's ranked number 5. But at the end of the day, guess what?
Yeah.
Your top 2 is the league dogs in the country. No.
Yeah,
question.
and
no question.
Let's be honest though. I keep saying this, and people always want to blame other people for it. But when we look back at last year, Ohio State had Georgia until Marvin Harrison got hurt, and then everybody goes, "Well, they missed 2 field goals." But they always take out the point that when Marvin Harrison got knocked out of the game, Michigan's offense or Ohio's offense couldn't move the ball anymore. It sputtered. It changed the whole dynamic of the game.
They're typically the best 2 teams. Georgia's the best team in the country, but
Ohio
Georgia is not head and shoulders above anyone else in the country.
No,
right? That's what I'm saying, right? Like a Michigan, a Penn State, Ohio State, they can hang with Georgia. I don't know if they can beat them, but they certainly can be in that conversation, right?
Exactly.
Same thing with Alabama most years, right? So it is what it is. In college football, it just gets to me because it's just weird. The way that the playoffs shake out, the way that they do the rankings and everything, it's just weird, man. I'm from the old school where we had the UPI and the API. If you lost, your ass was going way down. Now you have one loss. Now you can lose a game and still be like ranked number 10.
Yeah.
And it boggles me, right?
Kev Diggs has a good point too. Like I want Georgia and Alabama come up north in November and December, right? Yeah. Like come play a game at Beaver Stadium or at Ohio State Stadium or at Michigan Stadium when it's 32 degrees outside or it's snowing and we're still playing a game.
No,
I don't. Again, I'm never going to say the SEC is a bad conference because they're not. They're a great conference. I think 90% or not 90, but a lot of the NFL players come from the SEC, but a lot of the players come from the Big Ten as well. I think if you look at it, there's in football, there's 2 dominant conferences. There's the SEC and the Big Ten. And those are the 2 dominant conferences, especially now with Oklahoma and Texas leaving the Big 12 to go into the SEC. There's no question. It's the Big Ten and the SEC, and that's it. There's no other conferences that matter anymore. And I don't think there's been any conferences that mattered. In like 6-7 years. To be honest, it's been Big Ten and SEC, and it's as simple as that. And it's mind blowing to me that when you look at the Big Ten every year, they have 8 or 9 teams ranked in the top 25. Right, every single year. But somehow it's a soft team, right? And every single year you have Michigan and Ohio State and 1 through 4, any way you want to put it, right? They're always in there as a right, and Penn State's right there at 5 through 10 every single year. That's called consistency, building programs, and being just damn right better. You'll have teams like Arkansas that are up there, Iowa State that'll be up there. Every once in a while, you see Indiana in the top 25. Like, you just don't see that. But it's. I think the SEC personally, all their fans have a superiority complex, and they all just want to feel better than everybody else at something because most of them don't like their actual NFL teams, so they have to go to college and be basically be like the little brothers. I mean, let's be real. No Tennessee fans happy with the Titans. Alabama doesn't even have a sports team. Nobody in Atlanta really likes the Falcons. They tolerate them, right?
I mean, I guess it is what it is. You're from there. You got to go with that bird, right?
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And let's be real. In Florida, when's the last time a team from Florida won a Super Bowl? Go ahead. I'll wait. We have time.
You know what?
We have time.
I'm glad you brought that up because that's a nice segue, man. You're getting so good at transitioning, man. I'm gonna ask you this question, right? And you don't have to answer because it's kind of rhetorical. Why is it that we put so much pressure on one certain quarterback for their lack of success, but don't take into account all the other teams and all the other quarterbacks that haven't had any success? So anyway, how you feeling about NFL week number 1 and how we feeling about the NFL in general? I put a question out there, right? So give me your top 6 NFL teams and I want you to give them to me in order. If you want me to go first, I will if you need a second because I got mine written down.
If you have yours written down, go first and I'll give them because I need to think.
All right, so in order, I got KC number 1, I got Philadelphia number 2, I got Cincinnati 3, I got Buffalo 4, I got the 49ers 5, and I got the Dallas Cowboys coming in at number 6. All right.
We're gonna have a discussion now, and I like it. I'm gonna sound like a homer, and I don't care.
That's okay.
I affiliate 1. I think
all right.
KC
okay.
at 2.
KC at 2. Mm-hmm.
I have San Fran at 3.
All right. Media, but go ahead.
Cincy at 4.
Cincy at 4. All right.
Dallas at 5.
All right.
And Jacksonville at 6.
Okay.
I do not think Buffalo is a top 6 team anymore.
Okay.
I don't think Buffalo is a top 3 team in the AFC anymore. Based off of obviously what I just said.
Okay.
I think Buffalo's in a lot of trouble. Starting at wide receiver for them, and it's going to end. It's going to end with them not having a good running back as well. But
hold that thought.
Go ahead.
Because
I'm holding it.
I always ask a question for a follow up, and now you got to go. And now you got to go first. Give me 2 surprise teams, 1 from each conference. And anybody that's watching, you can post your stuff in the feed. We'll go over it.
No, I'm gonna make some friends in the feed right now. If he's still there, I'm gonna make some friends in the feed. I think Atlanta is gonna be a surprise team this year. I'm trying to go 1 from each conference.
Yep, that's what I want you to do.
Yeah, okay, that's what I figured. I think the Jets are overhyped.
I like Kevin's.
Baltimore. I don't think Baltimore. Oh, he's talking. That's his top 6.
Yeah, it's his top 6.
I thought he was talking about Baltimore being his house, but I don't think Baltimore's a surprise team though.
I like it.
All right, how about this? The Pittsburgh Steelers. I love George Pickens. Love me some George Pickens, and from what I'm reading and seeing from training camp, him and Kenny Pickett have a connection. And Kenny Pickett is throwing the ball really well right now, and they already have a good defense.
My fantasy QB.
As long as they can move that ball on offense, there is no doubt in my mind that Pittsburgh will come in second place in that division.
Ooh, that's tough. That's a tough call. You know who's in that division, right?
I know Baltimore, Cleveland, and Cincy. I know who's in that division, but I don't believe in Baltimore.
Okay. All right. So, do you want me to give you my 2 surprise teams, or do you want me to
Sure.
get your 2 disappointing teams first? Well, how do you want to do it?
I'll give my 2 disappointments to you. Take my 2 disappointments, and I'll pass the mic over to you.
Fair enough.
One
from each.
Yep, Jets. And keep it. Everybody knows I am the biggest Aaron Rodgers fan you will ever find. I do not believe it. Okay. It was a coin flip between them and the Dolphins, to be honest, and I went with the Jets.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah. And I think Detroit's the other one.
All right.
Don't tell BK Holloway. He might be in my messenger right quick.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you right now, that young man is gonna have his skin tested.
Yeah.
Yeah. Surprise teams from the AFC. I'm gonna go NFC first because I think the New Orleans Saints are gonna be a surprise team. I think they're gonna be a little bit better than what people think, and they're in a soft division.
I forgot about them.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go Saints for my surprise team. See, it's hard to give a surprise team from the AFC because some of these teams made the playoffs last year, right? I want to say Jacksonville, right? But I don't know if I can say them because they made the playoffs last year.
No, they made it all the way to they were in the second round of the playoffs. I will not accept that. I won't accept that.
You won't accept that? All right. Well, so then I can't pick the Chargers then because they were a playoff team, right?
No, Chargers didn't make playoffs last year.
Yeah, they did.
Oh, they got blown out. You're right.
They didn't get blown out.
Okay,
they lost to Jacksonville.
They got that ass whoop. Let's not get it twisted. Thank you. They got that ass whoop. Come on now.
They lost by 3 points.
Hold on. They had a 30-point lead, right? They had a 30-point lead and lost that. That's getting that ass kicked.
They did. Okay,
that's like saying the Colts. That's like saying Minnesota didn't beat the Colts' ass.
All right. So then I'm gonna take the Ravens.
Yeah, you have to give me 2 teams that didn't make the playoffs last year.
It has to be 2 teams. Now you did teams. Okay.
No, you said surprise teams. That would be a surprise to me, would it not?
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Then I am going to take the easy one, and I will take the Jets.
You think the Jets will make the playoffs? Interesting.
Well,
hold on.
I mean, they're probably the best team that didn't make the playoffs.
Yeah,
on paper, right?
Real quick, I just want to say this. Hey, Kev Dix, the Giants are always a disappointment. So you don't gotta put that on there. That's fine. We understand. You can move on to another team.
Oh my gosh! But I like his surprise teams. I like Green Bay. He kind of went homerish there.
He went very homerish on the Cleveland,
but so be it. You know, if Deshaun Watson can get if Deshaun Watson can get back to Deshaun Watson, then yeah, they'll be a surprise team. But they're still the 3rd best team in that division, maybe even the 4th. Like that could be the strongest division this year.
I completely agree with you. That might be the strongest. That could be the strongest division. I know. I think that will be the strongest division this year, but it's very hard for me to believe in Cleveland right now because of Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson's got to earn the belief. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's got to make people earn. He's got to really earn the belief.
Disappointing teams.
Oh, yep.
Ooh, man, I got so many to choose from here. Especially on the AFC side, because I'm looking squarely at the Dolphins and the Chargers.
So you were right about with me then with the Dolphins at least.
Yeah, but then when Kevin typed in the Chargers, I'm like, yeah, because I think the Chargers. I'm going to say the Chargers are going to be disappointed because their head coach is terrible. And they have their head coach in waiting. Kellen Moore will be the next head coach.
I was just going to ask that question though, because Kellen Moore being the offensive coordinator, how much is that head coach really taking on March as far as like the offense goes? Because Kellen Moore is going to be calling on the plays, is he not?
Yeah, he is. I mean, he's gonna be there, but the hype around the Dolphins is just tremendous, and that's kind of why I wanted to I feel about the Dolphins like you do about the Jets, right? And
I told you it was
the Jets hype is warranted because of AR-12, right?
Yep.
But the product still remains to be seen of what they're going to be, right? And that's kind of how I feel about the Dolphins, right? Everybody's like, oh, Tua is going to be like this, and that. And I'm not a Tua hater. I think he's just like every other quarterback that's young. Give him time, let it marinate, right? You know, expect the regression, and then this is how they bounce back. So
that is going to stay healthy.
So you picked the Jets as disappointing, so I won't do that because I picked them as expiring. So I'm going to take the Chargers. Kevin Dixon swayed me there. So if it's not right, we're going to blame him.
Kev, to answer your question, I think the only division that has a chance to do that is the AFC West or AFC East. I'm sorry. No, North. I'm sorry. Get my division. AFC North with Baltimore, Cleveland, Cincy, and Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I don't see any other. I don't see any division. I don't see any division getting all four in. I mean, it's fantastic.
It's tough to do that.
The NFC East got 3. You know,
I mean, they almost had 4. Washington was right there on the cusp,
right there,
up until the last 2 or 3 games. But
they're definitely getting 2 in. They're definitely sending 2 back. The top 2 are going to be there again.
Yeah,
I'm like Kevin. I'm just not a big fan in the Giants taking that step forward. I like the coach, but I just don't think talent wise they have enough. And I'm not a Ron Rivera fan. Like I think that the Commanders have their next coach in waiting too. And then once they give Eric Bieniemy the helm there, then maybe I'll give them a little bit more credit. But the Commanders were terrible, and I can't wait for them to have another bad season. So I said what I said, and I'm going to be here all year on that.
Tua. That's what I said earlier. Tua has the weapons. He needs to stay healthy, and that's something he has not been able to do his first 3 years in the league or 4 years in the league is stay healthy, right? Yeah. And that's a quarterback's best friend is staying healthy. If you can't stay healthy, then you're going to find yourself out of a job real quick.
Get that man a running game, right? Get him a running game.
Well, I'm
going to throw 2 teams at you, right, for my disappointing from the NFC, and I can't wait to see your reaction here. Seattle Seahawks, Detroit Lions.
I said Detroit.
I know you did, but I just wanted to see your reactions because a lot of people are hyping up Seattle.
So
a lot of people are hyping up the Lions, but I also think the Vikings are going to disappoint too.
It's hard to in that division right now, I think.
Well, who's going to win that division? The Vikings or Vikings or the Lions?
I think the Vikings are going to win that division.
Okay.
So I don't think Detroit's going to even be second place in that division.
I'm just going to be petty here because BK Holloway is on my list, so I'm just going to be petty. I'm just going to pick the Lions. I really do think it's going to be the Seahawks, but I'm just going to pick the Lions just because he's on my freaking radar. So I'm going to go, and that's it. Petty Patrick is in the building. You know what I mean?
I love it.
Oh, listen, hold on. Let me show you something. I know you've seen it, but I don't think you've seen it. Right? I'm going to tell you something. This year, we're bringing a whole new level of pettiness. Okay.
What is this man about to pull?
I'm letting you know right now.
That scares me.
Oh, we're bringing.
Oh my! Oh, please, God damn it, don't.
We are bringing a whole new level of pettiness.
I'm gonna remove him from the screen. Hold up, I got you.
No, you are not. One of these is coming your way. Believe it or not, it's gonna say "Fly Eagles Fly" on it. You getting one of these? Listen, Pot. If you're watching this show, you message me. We're going to get this man one of these chains. I've been telling everybody this year we're going with the turnover chain. I'm telling you right now, Sean. You know I don't do stuff like this very often, so you know how I feel about this year, right? But I'm telling you right now. Every time Detroit Lions lose, it's on. He came at me unprovoked. I was minding my own business, as some people like to say, but I truly mind my own business. And I'm telling you right now. That's right, Kevin. That's right. You have yours on. I'm telling you, you need to get one of these just because it's just so bodacious, right? It's just out there. You know what I mean? Kind of looks like a Christmas ornament, right? Like a light bulb. You know what I mean? But
that might be too much flash for me.
Nah. Listen, you only gotta wear it for like 45 minutes, right? If that. You know what I mean? Like this is going.
But I go to a lot of games, right?
Mm-hmm. And you see it.
So it would be very hard for me to go to a game, right, and not want to bring that with me. But the problem is, I feel like that's heavy.
It's not. You would think, but it's not. It's not heavy. This is like really. This is like really like thin. It's almost like cardboard like type. So it's really light. Yeah. But I wanted to show it to you up close and personal.
God damn.
I saw it. I thought it was awesome. I thought it was awesome.
Listen, it is awesome. It looks really cool, and I encourage anybody that's into that kind of stuff to buy one. I'm just saying that's not that's not my style per se, right?
That's why you ain't got to buy it. That's why you got friends like me that take care of it for you.
I don't, you know.
So that's the end of that discussion. You getting one, you gonna wear it.
My style, right?
You don't have to take it to the game.
I rock
you gotta wear it.
hats.
But you gotta wear it on. But you gotta wear it on this platform. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
I got you.
You got to wear it on this platform. So, man, there's so many things that I want to get into, but there's just so many things I'm gonna stay away from, just for the sake of time, and just. I'm telling you right now, I'm looking very forward to me having a lot of I told you so's. And let me tell you something. One thing y'all don't know about me, this cat does. I'm petty as fuck. And I got a memory like a motherfucking elephant. I remember the shit that y'all said 6 years ago. I remember the shit y'all typed 6 years ago, 7 years ago, last week, yesterday, 2 minutes ago, 2 months ago, 2 years ago, 3 years, 5 weeks, 2 days, and 60 minutes. Okay. I got it all up here. And I'm telling you, this is going to be the year of the Hodge. I am coming for you suckers. And some of it's going to be friendly fire. That's the thing that's killing me. Some of y'all are going to catch these shots that have the same rooting interest.
I'm going to say, so I must say, you must feel really strongly about the Cowboys this year.
I don't feel like, I don't think it's their year type deal. Don't, let's not get it twisted, right? I've never been that guy to tell you, oh, this is, but I think a lot of people are taking them for granted in the regard of, you're forgetting they just won 12 games 2 years in a row, right? You want to paint the narrative that the quarterback is a turnover machine after one anomaly year of turnovers, right? He's in the top 10 of turnover ratio of all-time quarterbacks, but he's a turnover pop. But nobody said anything about Trevor Lawrence throwing 4 interceptions in the playoff game. Nobody says anything about Josh Allen throwing 1 less interception than Dak Prescott last year. No one talks about the lack of success that Josh Allen has had in the playoffs, right? But yet, we want to talk about Prescott. We want to anoint Brock Purdy, right? We want to put Jalen Hurts on a pedestal because he got his team to the Super Bowl in his second year, right? Regression is hard.
Keep my man's name out your motherfucking mouth.
Regression is hard, right? Now, all you San Francisco 49er fans, I can't wait. I really can't.
I cannot wait. I will be in Philly.
I really can't.
Y'all come back.
And my brothers to the north, I need you to temper your expectations on your defense. Okay. And when I say my brothers to the north, I'm looking directly at your ass. All right.
Who?
You ain't no motherfucking Al. You. I need y'all to temper your expectations on your defense, right? I'm seeing a lot of chatter from one cat about Jalen Carter's going to be the defensive rookie of the year. I heard the same shit about Jordan Davis last year, and he barely saw the field.
Hold on now.
Hold on now. What I will say is this, and I've always said this, and I always say this: you're the champs until you ain't the champs. There is nothing wrong with your squad. Your squad is still the team to beat in the NFC East. Your squad is still the team to beat in the NFC. No question, right? And no way, shape, or form am I a Jalen Hurts hater. You know that. But I'm just saying, regression comes, right? How does he bounce back? He has a good team. I just worry about the offensive coordinator and the defensive coordinator switch. That's the only thing that worries me about change. But the roster and everything else.
I agree with you there.
Yeah, you know what I mean? The roster and everything else.
I think our roster is fine. I'm not worried about the roster.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
I agree with you 100%. Like I think week
no.
one you're going to see hiccups with them because it's new defensive coordinator.
That's my point. Just be patient. Right? Just be patient.
I am going to say this.
Say it. Run it.
I am going to say this
because I ain't scared. Run it.
Jalen Carter should not have been there when the Eagles picked him. And I think,
absolutely not.
And I think so. First off, I know exactly who you're talking about. You're talking about Jalen Carter winning offensive rookie of the year or defensive rookie of the year. that was a post made by somebody else.
Yeah, I wasn't saying you particularly, but I'm just saying.
No.
I'm just saying my brother's in New York.
No. I'm saying it was a writer. A writer said it.
Oh,
he shared the article because I know exactly what post you're talking about.
Yeah.
It was a writer, but then he gets a little, I'll say, flamboyant when he starts typing about the Eagles. I don't live that lifestyle. I sit back and I watch.
Just let it play.
I let it play. I think the defensive line is going to continue to be a murderer's row. I am very much scared for the defensive backs because I don't know what Darius Slay, because Darius Slay at the end of the year was giving up a lot of yards.
But y'all got the best. Y'all got the best cornerbacks, is what I'm told. That's all I hear. Y'all got the best cornerbacks.
You're not going to do that. You're not going to do that with me. You're not going to do that with me.
You can do it.
You can do it with the other. You can do it with the other fools. Don't do that shit with me.
I'm just telling you.
Don't do that with me because you know I don't. You know I don't live. You know I don't live that lifestyle.
Has the best
you know I do not live that lifestyle.
I'm glad.
I cannot wait. Yo, next time this man says something about the Cowboys, I'm going to start saying some shit. And it's going to piss him off because he knows I don't live that lifestyle.
I'm glad.
I'm trying to tell you guys this is like I like the Terrell Edmonds pickup. I like that a lot. And I like the progression that Reed Blankenship showed last year. Now, do I think that means we're okay? Absolutely not, because if you watched last year, at the end of the year and even into the playoffs, our number one quarterback in Darius Slay started to really fade off and give up a lot of yards. He was great the first half of the season, him and Bradbury. But once the second half of the season started rolling around, he started giving up a lot of yards, and he was getting beat a lot. That's why I was of the ilk that you needed to re-sign C.J. Gardner-Johnson and let Darius Slay walk.
True story.
As hurtful as it was, but I did tell you that, did I not? I told you that. I was like, if you're going to sign somebody, I'd rather it be Johnson and Bradbury because they're both younger.
True story.
Now, with that being said, right, like it is what it is. It turns out Gardner Johnson's kind of a POS, right? Like he doesn't really know. He doesn't really know where he wants to play. Exactly. That's why he only got a 1-year deal with Detroit. He'll be out of there in 1 year and keep bouncing around the league, whatever.
And then trash Detroit, right?
You know what I mean? Best of luck to you. Best of luck to you. I couldn't give two flying fucks about you. My point is right now is that unfortunately we have a very good front seven. I'm not worried about that at all. I'm worried about the back four.
I'm worried about your linebackers. I always have been.
Listen, we play a blitz scheme, right? Like we're going to come at the quarterback.
Yeah.
So I mean,
good point.
If we hit the quarterback, then our pass defense should be all right. I'm worried about our run defense. That's what I'm worried about. Because last year, Jordan Davis had to keep coming off the field every time because he couldn't play in a run defenses.
You know what's funny? In parallel, right? I'm worried about the same things defensively that you are, except I'm not worried about my cornerbacks. I'm worried about the ability to stop the run, and I'm worried about my linebacker depth, right? And I know we play a different scheme, right, where we have hybrids and all that, but that's my concern, right? Because we got to be able to slow the run down for the defense to be able to do what they think they can be able to do, right? Offensively, they're going to be stout. Again, Dak is averaging 29, 30 points a game, right? That wins most games, right? I don't expect that to change. But the point I was making about the coordinators, right? And I just wanted to have a funny moment with you about that because everyone's making a big deal about Mike McCarthy calling the plays this year, right? And how that's going to set Dallas back, or that's a big reason why they might not be as successful, right? I just have to laugh at that because it's like this man has come in and changed the culture of this team, right? They're still not getting that big playoff success, right? Fine. Only 2 teams get that big playoff success, though, right? Last year was Kansas City, last year was the Eagles, right? Eagles went toe-to-toe, easily could have won that game, right? But, to think that it's going to be this drop-off. This guy has won a Super Bowl calling plays. Doesn't matter when he did it. He's won a Super Bowl calling plays, man. I mean, his offensive have always been good, right?
He's also always had AR-12 too. And
correct.
That helps a lot.
That does help a lot. That does help a lot. No, Dan Quinn. See, and this is another narrative that irks the shit out of me. Dan Quinn will not be the next head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. I don't know what bank you're taking it to, but today is Sunday, tomorrow's a holiday. So that shit's like 7 days a week. You feel me? Like the Cosby's week. 7 days a week. He's been a head coach. It doesn't work. Some guys are just better coordinators. Right? He's one of them.
We say it all the time. Some guys are just really good.
Some guys are just better coordinators, man. You know what I mean? If he wanted to be a head coach, he would have left last year or the year before, right? So, but that's it too, right? Like this is the year, right? If the Dallas Cowboys don't do this, right, Dak's going, Mike McCarthy's going. All right. So no, I can't trust you because you don't know anything about my organization. Stop it. I can't trust you. So in that logic, right, then Josh Allen should be gone. Joe Burrow should be gone. Their coaches should be gone. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, stop it with this nonsense, man. So listen, I know you got to get ready to go. So you got other engagements.
Oh, I mean, I got a fantasy draft. I ain't gonna lie about it.
No, you're good. You're good. So we're at time, but I want to get the Sean's week 1 picks.
Yeah, I'm about to say this is important. We got to do the picks. I'm not letting you leave without doing the picks.
Very important. Do you have the schedule pulled up, or do you want me to call something out?
I got the schedule in my hand.
I know
now, here's a question for you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna leave this up to you because I know you got pen and paper right next to you.
Yeah.
Do you want to track our score this year?
Ooh, I think we should do that.
Have a personal battle between the two of us.
Ooh. Let me get a fresh notebook.
I thought you would like this.
Let me get a fresh
I was saying. So every week, what we'll do is at the end of the show, we'll break it down and be like, hey, Sean went 16-0 last week, and Patrick went 0-16 last week. You know. And we'll see. We'll have our own little side little thing on this, right?
Yes, sir. All right, let's get it.
All right, so week 1.
Yep.
Now, one last question before I start this. We doing all the games, or am I going prime time only?
We going all.
Okay, it's going to take a minute. First game, opening up the week, Lions Chiefs.
Yep.
I'm going Chiefs.
Okay. Chalk.
Okay. Yep. Texans Ravens. I'm going Ravens.
Chalk.
Bengals Browns. I'm going Bengals.
Chalk.
Buccaneers Vikings. I'm going Vikings.
Chalk.
Oh my. Tennessee Titans Saints. Oh, I think I'm gonna go to the Saints.
Chalk.
Interesting. Okay. Panthers Falcons. I gotta go to the Falcons.
Chalk.
Jaguars Colts. Jaguars.
Chalk.
Niners Steelers. I am taking the Steelers.
Niners.
It's our first disagreement. Washington, Arizona. I think Arizona's going to be the second worst team in football, so Washington.
Chalk.
Get to my game. Eagles, Patriots. I got the Eagles.
Chalk.
Raiders, Broncos. I got... Oh, shit. I think I'm going to go to the Raiders.
All right, let's ride. I'm going Broncos.
Dolphins, Chargers. I'm going Chargers.
Who's the home team in that one?
It is the Chargers. Aren't they playing in their new stadium now, too? Brand new stadium opens up this year?
I think so.
Do you think they're going to lose the first game in the new stadium?
I just don't trust the Chargers, but I'm telling you, I'm not really feeling Miami. I'm gonna go Chargers with you.
Okay. Packers, Bears. This is a coin flip because I don't know what Jordan Love is.
I'm going Bears.
I that's where I was going with it too. I just don't know what Jordan Love is, so I'm going Bears.
Mm-hmm.
Rams, Seahawks. I am going Seahawks. Cowboys, Giants, Cowboys.
Easy.
And to wrap it up, it's the Bills, Jets, and shit.
Thanks, Kevin.
Shit. I just said I think Jets are going to be disappointing, but I said the same thing about the Bills too.
So listen. Who has a tougher 2-game stretch to open the season than the Jets? They got the Bills, and then they play Cowboys on a short week.
I think if they're going to win one, it's going to be against the Bills, so I'm going to go with the Jets on that. alone because I don't think they're going to beat the Cowboys.
You know, man. So I want to take your philosophy about the Chargers playing in their new stadium. They're not going to lose. I kind of want to take the Jets not losing their first game with AR-12 at home.
I feel like it's going to be like too much like of a homecoming, too big of a game.
But Josh Allen is that dude to make like they're that squad that's going to come in with that chip to be like, nah, you're not winning. You're not winning. So who you got? Who you taking?
I'm taking the Jets.
Okay.
The Bills' second game is against the Raiders.
Okay.
And I think the Bills play the Raiders, and the Commanders back to back. So they might lose to the Jets, but they'll bounce back and be 2-1 real quick.
Yeah. So just for argument's sake, I'm just gonna go Bills to be different. Just no rhyme or reason. Just
you said Jets?
No, yeah, I'm gonna take the Jets. I was going Bills, but no, I'm gonna stay Bills. I'm gonna go with my first guy. I'm gonna stay Bills. I want to be different. So
out of the 16 games, we have 4 different.
I think 3.
We had the Niners game.
Yeah, the Niners game is different. The Broncos game is different, and then the Bills game. Okay, so I got Bills, Broncos, 49ers. You got Pittsburgh. Who do you got? Pittsburgh,
Oakland,
Vegas, and the Jets.
Vegas.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh, Vegas, and the Jets.
Yeah.
All right, that's what our picks are, and we'll. I think what we'll do is moving forward. Just the thought process is that we're doing our open monologue to start the show off. We'll say say who won last week.
Yep.
And then at the end of the show, like we do every single week, we'll do our picks again.
And then what we can do is, if to save time too, we can have all of our picks between us two, and then if you only want to cover the primetime picks on the show, we can do it that way.
Yeah, so, exactly. I mean, we do, I think what I'll do moving forward is I'll pick out like 5 games.
Yeah,
I think are the best games of the week.
Yeah,
and we'll shoot those off.
Yeah, and then we can pick the rest between ourselves. Like we can send our picks in each week to each other, and I'll write them down and keep a total, and then we'll see. All right, brother. Good luck in your draft tonight. We'll see you Saturday night, man.
Let's do it. See you guys.
Thanks for watching, people.